What is your definition of BIM?
For me, the entire idea behind BIM is actually that it's going to help you to have a structured approach on dealing with the information you have on the project. We all know, how this actually started. In the beginning, there was a big hype when people were thinking that BIM is 3D. And then everything was in 3D, it's reliable. We almost forgot that in the end, the entire 3D was just a model created for a specific purpose. So actually, when you look at what's happening or what's behind BIM nowadays and all these standards which are put in place to some extent, or helping you to understand what kind of workflow you need to have on the project, it's always targeted on the idea of creating something with a specific purpose, and then everything you put in a 3D model needs to serve a specific purpose. Right? So here comes the idea of the BIM usage. So for me, it's to put it in a nutshell, BIM. It's I see it as a process because a lot of people are saying that it's a process, but it's a set of means on actually structuring your efforts on dealing with the information on the project. And I will put this, let's say, I'll put it this way. It mainly because we have to see past of the advantage of BIM offers for the design and engineering phase. And also there are benefits for the asset managers, for the other phases in the life cycle of a system, of a product. You have the operation, you have to deal with the maintenance. If you have all the information there, or the information you need there, you no longer have to send people on the field to make measurements. If you have the information up to date, so that's one of the things, right? So you want to keep these models up to date, otherwise they become obsolete. So then again, even if you have an old model, you still have to send people on the field to make measurements or do inspections, right? So here comes with the new ways of doing things and changing the way we are doing things in our field.
It's a good question. For me, it's well, building information model. It's a platform to combine every information and everything you know about the objects in the digital world. And for me, when I started as a planner and working with models, it just lights up as a better way to control what you've been planning and see the whole picture. So that was the start for me, is that you can see every discipline together and combine them and see collisions and challenging before you actually find them out in the field. And then it's development with more information in, and on Drammen Kobbervikdal now, where we put in a lot of information on the objects. We use attributes a lot to define what's happening. And we also combine the model to the contract, so it's linked. We use Norconsult, that's been our consultant. They combine, they are planned all the whole building aspect of it, and they are combining the models directly into the contract, so they can get the amounts, the meter and tons directly from the model. So when you change something in the model, you can get it directly into the contract. So they are combined together. And this is something I think for the business is important in the future, to be more agreeable about what we're actually saying in the contract text. Because now when you are highlighting a point in the contract, you can see what objects that are connected to that part of the contract in the model. And if you highlight them in the model, You can see what part in the contract it's belonged to. So it's more transparency. And I think that's important in the future because we are seeing bigger and bigger contracts, and there's a lot of details that's going to be correct. And I think BIM is a good way to make sure that we have the right foundation for what we're going to do. The BIM word is, when we started, it kind of misused a little, because as you say, we started with 3D models, we model drawings, and we called it BIM, but it was only a model-based project. So we had this in Statens Vegvesen, where I worked. We tried in a manual about this that we worked out. We tried to separate the things. If you are only a 3D model, it's a model-based project. For it to be BIM, you have to connect information to the objects, and we have few projects that's on that level this far. And I think that's what we've done on Drammen Kobbervikdalen. We are delivering a BIM model because we got information in there, and we have connected the contract, so we have the economy combined to the model in some way. So, and this is where we want to go in BIM world. You want to combine them together, you want to see timeline, you want to see all of these other things. So there are a lot of levels to do this. And but most important it is that you get the information into the model, and not that you have to go other ways to look for the information to support the model. You're going to find it where you work in the model.
Usually I just turn the word around and I just say modeling to generate information so we can get to the art of building. I like to look at it as a process of the model being the mechanism, the information being what we get out of the mechanism, and building being the process that it all supports. And I guess I sort of jumps over B and lives on in the model as the built asset as well, now that we have facilities management databases. So I guess I is probably the most important part of BIM to me, because the information is it's how we generate our process, but it's also what the building becomes beyond just being a physical building. And I guess we're seeing with things like the digital twin movement as well, that the information aspect is becoming very, very important now. But yeah, I usually see it as a process of those three aspects sort of connecting each other almost in a sequence. So modeling to generate information to make a building, whether it's a digital or a physical building, I guess is two different things. But I like to sort of describe it that way to like newcomers to BIM, because otherwise everyone just looks at the M and goes, well, it's a 3D model. Wow, we can do 3D. And it's like the 3D is just like the first thing that people should get excited about. And then beyond that, it should be about databases and, you know, all sorts of things that we can do by pushing data around, and then actually going out to site and communicating using these data-rich environments, and like, you know, doing clash detections, things that we just couldn't do before without the BIM system that brings it all together. Yeah, so that's sort of how I try to see it.
I always like to think that BIM is not like, that's not a product for me. BIM is more like a way to work. So because earlier I tried to stop using the word BIM and thinking like, yeah, it's more of a natural evolvement of the industry. You know, you have to do it. It's just like using new technology. Like I switched to a smartphone in 2007 because I know that, okay, this is like how it's going to be now. So that's BIM for me. It's just a natural way of how the industry is going. So I try not to use the BIM word too much, because some people get like scared of it. Think it's that, oh, another new thing to do, and it's yeah, it's a hassle more than it's good. So, but our name has to have BIM because, you know, people understand much more, and it's easier for the industry to understand what we do. But BIM for me is more of a process. It's like I said earlier, I focus on the process and like how the people are working together is more of a process, connecting all of the things in the project to work together. That's BIM for me, more than just a model. The 3D model is just an asset to BIM. It's not like BIM. That's the interesting part for me, that I saw this very early on, that we tried to like you say, demystify the use of the word BIM, because it's not just a model, it's just how we work, and it's natural that you deliver a model, and it creates a lot of things. So you have information, you have clash detection, you're more sure that you're going to build what is going to be built, and you are managing to doing it. So yeah, I think that more and more people also understand that BIM is a lot more than just a 3D model. It's more of the way we work. Yeah.
I started to work with BIM for more than a decade ago, and BIM is, of course, still one of the most important hubs for information exchange between all the trades, between all the stakeholders, the disciplines, and we're utilizing BIM for visualization, and BIM is also a way of containing the information, so it's accessible for the digital tools to access the data, so we could use our tools and use technology to improve our processes. So yeah, BIM is absolutely very important in this.